There's a new wave of fighters in the UFC. These guys are taking over every division one step at a time, ruthlessly knocking out, submitting, and demolishing every opponent in front of them. We know a few of them like Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev, but sometimes we seem to forget the one who poses a bigger threat than anyone we've ever seen. His name is Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's had 16 fights as a pro MMA fighter. He's finished all 16 of his pro fights and has only been in the third round once. Some say he's half human and half god because of the mighty strength he possesses, but we believe he may become the best UFC fighter of all time. So, who is Shavkat Rakhmonov? How is he so dominant, and what's the UFC's plan for him? To find the answers to these questions and many more, we want you to sit back, relax, and join us as we take a closer look into his life and career. But make sure you stick to the end, where we reveal how his next fight in the UFC can make or break his career forever. Without wasting your time any further, let's begin. Shavkat Rakhmonov was born on October 23, 1994, in Uzbekistan, Central Asia. Now, there's no solid evidence out there about Rakhmonov having formal education, but from what we know, he has a sister. He has a sister, Sora Rakhmonova, who's also into mixed martial arts. Rakhmonov and his sister, Rakhmonova, began training in MMA at very young ages. And how you'd know a kid like Rakhmonov was always destined to be great in this sport is that he was already winning titles as an amateur fighter. He won numerous Asian Championship titles before making his pro debut in October 2014. And listen, right from his debut fight as a pro MMA fighter, it was obvious this guy is going far. He faced a pretty unknown fighter, Adam Surov, who he finished in the first round via triangle choke. From there, Rakhmonov did his thing again and again and again until he won his first championship, the KZMMAF Welterweight Championship, under the KZMMAF promotion. And just in case anyone thought his rise to KZMMAF Welterweight Champion was a fluke, Rakhmonov turned the M1 Global promotion and won the vacant M1 Welterweight Championship less than 4 months later. So Rakhmonov was a double champion in 2 different promotions, even before he entered the UFC. If you haven't gotten the memo yet, we need you to understand right now that this guy is on a completely different level. And the crazy part about his journey is that he kept finishing his opponents one after another, but the defining moment of his career came when he signed for the UFC in 2020. Signing with the UFC also made Rakhmonov the first Uzbekistan-born to sign for the promotion. And unlike other fighters in the UFC, when Rakhmonov entered the promotion, we all knew he was going to be a problem in the welterweight division. It was pretty obvious from the jump. After failing to secure a fight in the early parts of 2020, Rakhmonov finally had the opportunity to showcase his skills against Alex Oliveira at UFC 254. Rakhmonov ended up finishing the fight in spectacular fashion. In one of the most beautiful transitions you'll ever get to see as a UFC fan, Rakhmonov caught Oliveira in a picture-perfect guillotine choke. How he did it, we really have no idea. It was just too beautiful, and it's a move you definitely don't get to see every day. With Rakhmonov's entire weight placed on the neck of Oliveira, Oliveira was left with no other option than to tap out. From there, Rakhmonov's second and third fights ended in similar fashion, but it was his fourth fight against Neil Magny that really proved to us UFC fans and former fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov that this guy is not here to joke. He dismantled Neil Magny in the first round ruthlessly. And Neil Magny is a pretty dominant guy, but that night it was obvious Rakhmonov was better than him in striking, grappling, and wrestling. He was better at everything. While it's really still a mystery how Neil Magny survived the first round, Rakhmonov ended the fight with a guillotine choke win over Magny, with just 2 seconds left in the second round. But hats off to Neil Magny in that one. He was clearly on the defensive side throughout the fight, and he still didn't give up easily. On the other side of things, many fans can't get over the fact that Khamzat Chimaev and Shavkat Rakhmonov have a lot in common. Well, apart from the fact that their names literally sound alike, it's so hard not to see a very big rivalry between both men down the road. And it's easy to see why there's lots of comparison between both guys. When you look at their skill sets, Khamzat seems like a well-rounded fighter. He's just as good on his feet as he is on the ground. And that's the exact same case with Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov is an expert in combat sambo and boxing. This gives him the ability to turn the tables around on his opponents anytime he wants. but for some reason many fans believe the UFC isn't booking him enough for fights. Maybe it's because other fighters are scared, or maybe they just don't care enough about him. We don't know. And besides, Rakhmonov doesn't look like the kind of guy to trash talk a fighter into taking a fight with him. He just calls them out on Twitter and hopes they accept his invitation of doom. Anyway, so far, Rakhmonov has had 2 fights in 2022, which is exactly what most fighters get, but his next fight is set to take place at UFC Fight Night 217 on January 14, 2023. He'll be facing the number 6 ranked guy in welterweight division, Geoff Neal. Before we talk about that fight, we're doing a monthly shoutout contest for you watching this video right now. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel and comment MMA in the comments section down below. We'll be picking one random comment to display in our next video, so our viewers get to know you. If you want us to make you feel that special, then scroll down, hit that like button, and comment MMA right now. The Rakhmonov vs. Geoff Neal fight might actually be a hard one to crack. We believe this will be a fight that puts Rakhmonov into title talks. At first glance, you'll obviously think Rakhmonov has this one solidly in the bag. But on a second glance, you'll realize that Neal has a very slight chance of winning too. If Neal keeps the fight as a stand-up fight and gets those good takedown defenses against Rakhmonov taking the fight to the ground, then maybe he'll be able to end Rakhmonov's unbeaten streak. And yes, Rakhmonov still has what it takes to obliterate Geoff Neal with his fiery punches. But it's MMA, anything is possible. Alternatively, if Neal chooses to fight outside the clinch, he can outpoint Rakhmonov to get a decision win. It's just 3 rounds, and we don't think anyone's ever tried that with him, so yeah, it would be quite a solid game plan. On the other hand, if Rakhmonov gets a win over Neal, this puts him 1 step behind Gilbert Burns, who's currently ranked number 5 on the rankings. So let's say he does win. The UFC might book a fight between Rakhmonov and Belal, who's at number 4, or a fight between Rakhmonov and the loser between Colby Covington and Khamzat Chimaev at their proposed fight at UFC 285. Even though we doubt the UFC would want to pitch a fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Shavkat Rakhmonov right now, it would be interesting to see how they play this around. Belal has also stated in the past that he's not willing to fight anyone below him anymore, so maybe the whole idea of Belal and Rakhmonov won't stand. But a Rakhmonov versus Colby or Chimaev fight, that's one fight we are looking forward to. These are 3 brutal wrestlers who have no problem with standing on their feet and going to the ground. Remember, we reported a little while ago about the fight between Colby Covington and Chimaev being a number 1 contenders fight for the welterweight title. This just means we're in for a fantastic treat from the UFC in 2023. It's going to be one barn burner to another. And let's not forget, there's the Leon Edwards-Kamaru Usman fight coming up too. We're really interested in knowing your thoughts on what happens in the welterweight division come 2023. So comment which potential fights you'd like to see in the welterweight division in the comments section below. You might want to check out either of the videos shown on your screen right now. Click on one, and I'll see you there.